I went into Goblin Slayer with high expectations. The hype surrounding it made me think I was going to be watching a dark and violent fantasy anime. But instead what I got was an ugly, boring mess that wasn't sure what it wanted to be. Straight away we are greeted with some of the most boring and generic character designs, and an art style that looks the same as any White Fox fantasy anime. This bunch of idiots that we are greeted with have decided to go kill some goblins. I refer to them as idiots because at the end of the episode we learn that it's a common thing for newbie adventurers to be slaughtered like this. But if it's a common thing, how come none of these guys know of this? Hell, the priestess should at least know of this because she herself states that she studied at the temple, which we find out is where many of the girls who are raped end up. Next, we get to what should have been the fun bit. I love violence. Normally I like seeing anime characters get brutally killed. Corpse Party and Magical Girl Raising Project were both incredibly fun things to watch. Yet, this was just so boring. The two previously mentioned shows were not masterfully written, but they were at least a good source of fun. But with Goblin Slayer, it boils down to just watching a bunch of incompetent idiots flail around until they get murdered and raped, only so that bad CG man can come in and save the girl because he's such a badass. And badass is just in quotes there because he's incredibly boring, with a personality that boils down to grr, Goblin's bad. And the basic combat tactics that he demonstrates are somehow supposed to make us think he's good at this, when all it really does is show us how stupid the ones who died were. I suppose next I should talk about the issue that most people have with this show. This episode created a lot of controversy over the rape scene and the supposed over-the-top violence. However, my feelings are the complete opposite. Personally, I feel like it wasn't edgy enough. I might have actually enjoyed the show if they were more inventive with its violence, or at least showed more violence. And on this note, one of the defenses of the rape scene that really annoys me is this notion that it has to be there to make us truly hate the goblins. But using sexual assault as a way for an author to make us hate the bad guys isn't new. It's just lazy, and I've seen the same bullshit get pulled in shows like Sword Art Online and Heavy Object. Plus, if seeing the rape and violence is supposed to be there to make us hate the goblins, why do they show so little of a guy being murdered? They basically cut away from his arm being cut off. Like, excuse me? Don't pussy out, let me see that arm come off. So basically my point here is that you may as well just imply the rape if you're also going to just imply the cutting off of an arm. If you're gonna be an edgy fantasy series, go hard or go home. Don't pussy out on some stuff as it just makes the other stuff seem like it's only there for shock value. In conclusion, Goblin Slayer is boring and can't decide how edgy it wants to be. I most likely won't be continuing to watch this show as it offered nothing of value to be enjoyed. And I feel that most people who enjoy this show fall into two categories. The first category being that you're 14, hate your parents, and wear mostly black, which is fine. I was 14 once too. The second category is that you like it because the rape scene will trigger people. You probably also watch Paul Joseph Watson, which isn't fine because Paul Joseph Watson makes shit videos. Not that this is any better. Honestly, just go watch better anime, like the Sumo one airing right now. At least that one's fun.